great to see you all here today. I was honored to serve as President Trump's ambassador at large for global criminal justice, dealing with genocide, war crimes, and crimes against humanity. I'm currently honored to serve as the Dean of Liberty Law School, which is part of a university that sent a whole contingent here and is proud to stand with CPAC and what CPAC stands for. Speaking of liberty, which is the theme of this conference, you have on the northern side of the most militarized border in the world, a nation that is enslaved and that is in one jail of a country under a criminal cult through a malign dynasty, the Kim dynasty, currently headed by Kim Jong-un. If it was not for the American-led defense of South Korea in the Korean War, you would have the entire peninsula under the most despotic, unjust regime on planet Earth. I try to honor, whenever I can, the veterans who served in the Korean War. Their blood, their sacrifice, their willingness to go into harm's way kept the entire peninsula from being under the most tyrannical, unjust regime known to this entire planet. In North Korea, if you can imagine this, there were some 15 million of their own people who have been murdered by the Kim dynasty in a country with only 24 million people. This is a country where they have concentration camps that would make the likes of Hitler, Mao, and Stalin proud because of the horrors that are performed inside of those concentration camps, and are worse than those of Stalin, Hitler, and Mao in that they punish 3 generations for nothing but guilt by association based on perceived political loyalty to the totalitarian dictatorship that is there. Believe it or not, you have presently in South Korea, you have a regime that is trying to take the democracy, the market economy, and turn it more in a direction of resembling North Korea than the United States of America. This South Korean regime is persecuting those who are standing up for justice in regards to the North Koreans. This South Korean regime is blocking and considering a national security threat those who are sending true information to counter the North Korean propaganda that the people are inundated with every day and that is sent out all over the world. They have made it so that it could be a 3-year jail sentence for doing so. The Korean society in South Korea and the systems that were brought from the United States to South Korea are in grave jeopardy. And there is a presidential election in March that will determine, because the Blue House, which is the equivalent of the US White House, has unusually great sway over all the other branches in South Korea. What direction South Korea goes in this next election can determine whether or not South Korea becomes like another North Korea. After the Korean War, Americans adopted more Korean War orphans than any other country. You have Korean Americans with the last name of Fields and Smith and Jones and things along those lines because of the big-hearted adoptions that took place to bring in the Korean War orphans. When the devastation of the Korean War hit, South Korea, believe it or not, was the second poorest country on the planet. And now it has the 12th largest economy in the world. It is an alliance that has been forged in blood, but that alliance is in unusual jeopardy under the current administration and must not be taken for granted, must be strengthened. Furthermore, there needs to be a uniting between the alliance of South Korea, Japan, and the United States in regards to the common threat of North Korea. The current administration in South Korea has damaged the alliance with Japan through anti-Japanese rhetoric in many ways, breaking the intelligence agreement and denouncing Japan and dredging up old grudges. This is foolhardy and needs to stop. And the key is we need American leadership in regards to the Korean Peninsula. We can support true information going to North Korea. We can stand up for justice. We can put forward our ideals and strengthen our key interests in this crucial region of the world, where the alliance with South Korea can play a major role in many ways, on many fronts, and advance American interests and values in a place that desperately needs to continue to stand with the greatest country that has ever existed in the history of the world, the United States of America. North Korea, in a lot of ways, is a typical communist state. Every time communism has been tried, every time, with no exception, in all of history, is meant, to use their own language, a communist bourgeoisie elite seizing everything and then crushing the people. 100% of the time, with no exception. And why is it that you hear those who want to push forward communism, even in this country and all over the world? And by the way, communism is at an all-time high in popularity in our country right now, with the sort of influences that are going on inside of America. What makes any of them think it would be any different than every other time it's ever been tried? This is like one of the definitions of insanity. When you try the same thing over and over and over again, expect a different result. Communism never has and never will deliver the way the values and ideals that define this country have brought amazing prosperity and peace and liberty all across this world, and a justice that is worth emulating, that this country has been a beacon for throughout its history. And so I would urge and encourage the strengthening of the alliance with key allies like South Korea. There is a need for a new direction there, starting in the election coming up very shortly in March, whether or not there's going to be a move more towards North Korean communism, or whether there will be a resumption of the systems that have actually worked and the strengthening of the most important alliance that Korea could possibly have, and a continuation of the legacy of the sacrifice of American patriots who gave their lives, I pray not in vain, during the Korean conflict. Thank you very much.